So the Returnal system requirements are finally released to the public, and these are the final system requirements. Minimum system requirements also start from GTX 1066 GB, which is almost a 6-year-old GPU right now. In order to run the game at 720p 60 FPS, you will at least need 6 GB of VRAM, which is GTX 1060 or equivalent. Well, these are the system requirements these days. The advancements in technology, newer ray tracing effects, and newer hardware is required these days to run the game at recommended settings. You cannot run the game at recommended settings if you do not have the latest hardware, which is almost above 2 or 3 years old. Well, this is a new reality of gaming. Yes, you cannot run the game at 720p 60 fps on a GTX 1650. Well, if the system requirements are true, then it is a very sad news for PC gamers, because most of the PC gamers are still rocking a GTX 1060 or a GTX 1650 4GB. And according to these system requirements, soon GTX 1650 and 1060 will go dead. For instance, by the January of 2024, we would probably start seeing GTX 1660 Ti as the bare minimum system requirement to run the game at 1080p or even 720p at 60 fps. We have seen this trend just from Gotham Knights, when we have just seen that 1660 Ti was recommended to run the game at 1080p. Yes, this is a very big thing, major thing in the PC gaming industry. Soon PC gamers will just have to upgrade. They will have no option left, because if the system requirements be just so demanding like this, then PC gamers would be just, waiting and waiting and waiting until the price drops and until they could just purchase a new hardware. Let's see. Yes, I have complained about this game using 32 GB of RAM as a recommended system requirement. The developers have heard the gamers, and they have lowered down the 32 GB system requirement to 16 GB. Let's see once again. 16 GB is recommended, and i7 8706 core is recommended in the recommended settings. If you are a low spec PC gamers, you will at least need a 1060 or equivalent 6 GB VRAM. You can either use a 1650 or a RX 570. They should be just, on par with each other. They would be just performing good on 720p, I suppose, because it is the least resolution we can play a game upon. Yes, this is a very sad reality. GTX 1650 gamers cannot expect to play this game at 1080p 30 fps at least, or 60 fps at least, if we were to believe the system requirements. Well, these system requirements we have seen from many other games in the past last year. These are only a gimmick. Mostly the game performs much better than they are just showing right in front of us. So I still have hopes that it is a PlayStation port. It might actually not have all those